Hello everyone, welcome to this week's Astrology News Report, presenting an alternate view of world events as seen through the lens of Vedic astrology. I'm Ron Berger, and today is August 31st, 2025. In this report, we'll take a look at what's coming up in the zodiac for September 2025. But before we begin, an important message. The weekly videos on this channel are available to people who donate to the channel. You are watching the once-a-month free public video. If you would like to have access to the upcoming month's weekly reports, stick around for the link at the end of this video to make your donation. Thanks. An eclipse occurs when the Sun, Moon, and Earth line up in such a way that the light of the Sun, or the Moon, gets obstructed. When the Moon gets in between the Earth and the Sun, it blocks out the Sun, which would be a solar eclipse on a new moon. And when the Earth gets in between the Sun and the Moon, it blocks the Sun's light from illuminating the Moon, which would be a lunar eclipse on a full moon. In an average year, there are 4 eclipses, 2 solar eclipses, 2 lunar eclipses. In order for an eclipse to occur, the Sun and the Moon have to arrive at one of the points where their apparent paths cross, apparent from the Earth, that is. These crossover points are called the nodes, and there are 2 of them, the ascending or north node, called Rahu in Vedic astrology, and the descending or south node, which Vedic astrology calls Ketu. The ancients feared eclipses. They were seen as portentous, in other words, signifying something bad coming in the near future. Eclipses tend to occur in pairs, one solar and one lunar, usually within the same lunar month or adjoining months. Such is the case for September. There will be a lunar eclipse and a solar eclipse, separated by 2 weeks. The lunar eclipse comes first on September 7th. In the sidereal zodiac, it will happen at 21 degrees Aquarius. This will be a total lunar eclipse. In other words, the moon will be completely darkened by the Earth's shadow. Due to the Earth's atmosphere, some of the Sun's light leaks around the Earth, which stops the moon from being totally blacked out. Instead, it turns a dark red, and hence the name blood moon. This lunar eclipse will be visible to people in Europe and Western Africa. In Vedic astrology, an eclipse means that there will be some change coming to the area of life, signified the house of the chart where the eclipse occurs. For instance, in the chart of the USA, Aquarius is the sign in the 3rd house. The 3rd house of a nation's chart concerns the everyday actions within the country. The 3rd house therefore covers such things as trade and commerce, communications, including media and TV, the country's infrastructure, and relations with neighboring countries. Any of these activities within the USA could see some notable changes in the next few months. 2 weeks after the lunar eclipse, there will be a solar eclipse on September 21st at 4 degrees, almost 5 degrees, sidereal Virgo. This eclipse will be directly opposed by retrograde Saturn, which is transiting on the other side of the zodiac at 4 degrees sidereal Pisces. Remember that a solar eclipse is actually a new moon, which kicks off the new lunar month. Having Saturn, the planet of harsh realities and limitations, directly influencing the birth of the lunar month, alerts us that the 4 weeks beginning on September 21st will be in some way problematic or unproductive. This will not be a total solar eclipse. the shadow of the moon will only cover 85% of the disk of the sun. This eclipse will be visible to people in the South Pacific, New Zealand, and parts of Antarctica. In the middle of September, there will be an unusual planetary combination. 3 of the primary planets, namely Mercury, Venus, and Mars, will all be changing signs within 48 hours of each other. These near simultaneous sign changes will make the second half of the month notably different from the first half. The first of the planets to make a move will be Mars. On September 13th, Mars finishes its 6 weeks long transit in Virgo and moves into sidereal Libra. Libra is not a good fit for Mars. It's the planet of aggression in the sign of compromise and agreement. But since Libra is something of an idealist, this also becomes the sign of prophets and fanatics. This quality of Libra will be boosted by the transit of Mars. The next planet to change signs will be Venus, which leaves Cancer and enters sidereal Leo on September 14th. Venus is not friends with the Sun, the ruler of Leo, so this is a somewhat uncomfortable sign for the planet of compromise and agreement. The planet of romance, in an egoic, prideful sign, is not a good fit. But Leo is the sign of rulers and governments, and thus, having the planet of compromise and treaties in this sign may be helpful for bringing about a peace deal or ceasefire for one or more of the conflicts currently raging around the world. Mercury will change signs late in the day on September 14th. In Europe and Asia, it will already be the 15th. Mercury leaves Leo and enters sidereal Virgo, which is Mercury's own sign, as well as its sign of exaltation. Mercury moves swiftly, so the transit only lasts 2.5 weeks. But it is significant because so much of what goes on in the world today is dependent on the planet of communication and media. Mercury in Virgo emphasizes Virgo's ability to concentrate on the details, to analyze the facts and data, and to come up with practical solutions to a wide range of problems. When it first enters Virgo, the planet of rational thinking will be opposed by, in other words, in a mutual aspect with Saturn, the planet of harsh realities. This planetary pattern is likely to result in a difficult decision, something that is compelled by circumstances that can't be negotiated with. It only lasts a few days. The exact opposition will be on September 17th. The ongoing conjunction of retrograde Saturn and retrograde Neptune, which started back in July, continues through September. But there's a little difference this month. Saturn is now pulling away from Neptune, and by the end of the month there will be 3 degrees of separation between the two planets. It is still technically a conjunction, but at least the two planets will no longer be on top of each other. Saturn is the planet of harsh realities, but it is also the planet of stability and security. Neptune is the planet of the irrational, the planet of fantasy, and on the downside, doubt, suspicion, and confusion. Neptune's influence on Saturn is what is making people have doubts about stability for the future. This negative combination persists through the rest of 2025 and into 2026, but at least the recent intensity should abate somewhat by late September. Okay, so there's a brief look at planetary patterns for September 2025, and here's a description of what's coming up in September's weekly astrology news report videos. September 7th, a total lunar eclipse in Aquarius, and what it means for each rising sign. September 14th, Mars transiting in Libra, and the effects on your rising sign chart. September 21st, an update on astrology manifesting in world events and politics. And September 28th, a preview of planetary patterns for October 2025. You'll not want to miss out on all these great upcoming videos, so if you would like to have access to September's weekly reports, donate $20 by clicking on or touching the donation card you see at the end of this video, which will take you to the donation page. And if $20 per month is too much for you, you can donate $10. The link for each week's report will be sent to you via your email. Here's the link. Just click or touch the card, which will take you to the donation page. And if the card does not appear or doesn't work, you can find the link in the comment section below. Thank you, and until next week.